law.
Yeah. So, but for adults, you don't have to leave anything to anyone if you do a will. You can do a will and say, sell all my things and give the money to the church.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Really quickly too. There's so much information. So,
Yeah.
so you need a will. These are the basics of what you need.
Yeah.
You need a will. Why? Because you will appoint in that will, you will say, I want this person to be in charge of making sure that whatever I put in my will happens. Mm-hmm. Number two, with a will, you can appoint someone, okay, to, let's say you have a special needs adult child. You can say, I want to leave some funds to take care of my adult son who has special needs. But my adult son with special needs can't have that money directly because they can't manage it.
Right.
Or you may have a family member that you want to leave money to. They don't have special needs, but maybe they've got some ALDA issues. Or maybe you want to leave it to like alcohol, drug addiction.
Okay.
They may have a drug problem. Or you may want to leave something to one of your daughters, but she may be in an abusive marriage, and you know that whatever you give her, her husband's going to take for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So the beauty of a will is you can actually appoint a trustee in a will. You can say, I want to leave X amount of money for this person, but I want to appoint someone else to be in charge of that and make sure that they're taken care of. I don't want the money to be given directly to the person, but I want the money to be used for that person. So what you can do is you can appoint a trustee to be over that person's money.
Right.
And all that person does is pays that person's bills,
Right.
pays that person's rent, yes,
Right.
pay that person's, buy groceries for them, whatever they need. You can have money available to take care of their needs, but make sure it doesn't get in their hands.
Right.
Because
right.
either they might blow it, they might spend it on drugs, or somebody might take it from them.
Right.
Yes.
We had a relative, my husband had a relative that had a special needs son.
Mm-hmm.
And when she passed, she made her will that as long as she appointed someone, as long as that person, the person could have the house as long as they allowed the special need child
Yes.
to stay in the house with them. And when that special need child passed away, then the house was legally hers.
Isn't that beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things. So your will gives you the right. You can write now while you're living what you want to happen with your property, right? And your money
Right.
after you're gone.
Right.
So that's what a will does. So a will doesn't come into play until after you pass away. Yes.
If you have a will, can you just can you X something out of the will without having to take it back to the lawyer and having it redone all over again?
So I recommend against that.
Okay.
But let me qualify that.
Okay.
So the way that I like to prepare wills, this is the way, and it's very common in Wisconsin. This is how a lot of lawyers do it. You have your will, but then I put a provision in my will, in the wills that I draft, to say, I may leave another document
Okay.
to dispose of my tangible personal property.
Wow.
Now, this doesn't happen now. So we call it tangible personal property, things you could touch and feel, right? There's personal property and there's real property. Real property is real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that needs to be dealt with within the will.
Mm-hmm.
But property, that means jewelry, anything except anything that you can touch, right? So I put a provision in the will that says, I may leave another document, a tangible personal property document. If you find that document within 30 days after I pass away, do what it says. If you don't find one, then fine. Mm-hmm. So now, what this document is, it literally is a sheet of paper that I tell people keep with your will. And it says, tangible personal property list. And then it has number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it has blanks. I do that because think about it. The day you make your will, you may say, I want to leave my special brooch to my granddaughter. But you know, a couple years later, you may change your mind. Guess what? If you write it on the list, the piece of paper, all you do is write the name of who you want to get it and what it is. And then you sign it and date it. You don't need witnesses. A will has to have 2 witnesses. Has to watch you sign, have 2 witnesses. In a lot of states, they have to be notarized. In Wisconsin, the wills don't have to be notarized as long as you have 2 witnesses, okay? So
So the tangible property one does not have to be notarized?
no.
Wow.
No, because it's referenced in the will,
Okay.
right? So it's like it's a part of the will, but it's like an attachment. But guess what you can do? You can get that, ball it up, throw it away, and start over anytime. And that's the beauty. As long as you write down who gets what. I want to leave Becky my blue chair, signed and dated. Okay. Before my mom passed away, I think we found like 3 or 4 of those. And she scratched out, you know, like I thought, oh, I was gonna get that, but I guess she changed her mind. She's gonna actually out, right? So the reason that, and I can't speak to like different state laws, but the reason that I recommend against striking through, one, your will has to be witnessed by 2 witnesses. If you change that, now you need to, if you're going to scratch something out, have 2 witnesses there, and if your state requires a notary, have that notary there too. Because there has to be proof that you did that. Because otherwise, when people take the will to court, when they file it, if it's got all these lines out, initials, who knows? How do we know that you did that?
Right,
But-
right.
But do you wanna go and pay all over again to have it redone? I mean, that's
Yeah.
that.
So
I mean, just
that's the
'cause
thing.
You don't wanna leave this person this,
Yeah.
and you changed your mind about this, just, you know, do you wanna go and pay another, what, $300?
But you know, you can actually do like an amendment to the will. They're called codicil, CODICIL. All it is an amendment. It's just saying, you know, I just want to make one change, right? I do that for clients sometimes. They left, you know, some real estate to a child and to an adult child, and that adult child passed away unexpectedly. So it's like, you know what, Krystal, can you just change that section and leave it to this other person instead? And
Now
instead
you're
of
going back to the
redoing-
same person to do that? You're going back to the same,
Yeah, you go to any lawyer to make the change. It's just you're just saying, I want to amend my will and just change a provision or 2. For me, typically, unless it's just like one small change like that, I always just recommend doing the whole thing over if you're going to be making more than one, like a change to more than one paragraph. Maybe if you're making a small change to 2 paragraphs, but the will is not that long. I mean, they're simple documents, right?
Right.
And if you're making a lot of changes, just redo it. And that's why most wills you'll see at the top, I hereby revoke all my prior wills and codicils. Because it's letting everybody know, just because you find another will in the house, that is no longer valid. This
Okay.
is my final will and testament.
right.
So, but yeah, and then there are places like, now I normally wouldn't like recommend this because I just don't. But I'm just saying, you could always go to LegalZoom.
Right, I've
Pay a
seen
couple
that,
bucks.
yeah.
Right. Now, here's the thing. I don't recommend that people go to the online places. So here's the thing. If you don't have anything special that you're doing, and you don't need a plan that's specifically customized for you, you can use those online things, right? But if there's something that, if you want an estate plan that's designed for you and your family, right? Then you wanna have a lawyer that you can talk to, not just over the phone, or not just, you don't want to have the computer system spit it out for you. You want to be able to ask questions. You want to be able to talk privately and confidentially about your concerns, and then let that attorney give you some options. But otherwise, you know, if it's a money thing, if you just kind of, I got the short thing, it's not that deep, I don't have any special considerations, yeah, you can do that. I mean, it's available, it's legal. Someday I hope to make my own type of kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, what was that document, for the list?
Okay, it's called the Tangible Personal Property List. And in Wisconsin, it's almost kind of standard. So in the will says, I may leave this document, right? It's not required,
Right.
but it gives you the opportunity to just kind of change your mind over time, because what you want today, you might not want that in 5 years, right? But the crux of your estate, it has to be outlined inside the body of the will. But for tangible, so for your personal property, things that you can touch and feel, you can say, I leave my car to my great nephew, right? And you can say, I want to leave it to my neighbor. And then your neighbor may be mean to you. And then you scratch that out. Instead of leaving it to my neighbor, I'm going to leave it to this person. So that's what that allows you to do. And it's only for personal property, okay? So you don't want to say, I give my house. That needs to be in your, who will get your real estate. Okay. Then the second document I want to get to, because I know we're probably out of time, is a power of attorney, a financial power of attorney. The financial power of attorney, you appoint an agent. That's just a person who can handle your finances and your property on your behalf. Here's the catch, while you're living. So the will determines what happens to you after you go to glory. The power of attorney for finances and property is while you're living.
Yes.
Once you pass away, that's void. Okay, so why do you need a power of attorney? And the third one is a power of attorney for healthcare.
Yes.
The healthcare power of attorney, you appoint one or two people to make healthcare decisions for you if you're ever in a situation where you can't speak for yourself. Maybe you're having surgery, or maybe you could have a stroke, or you could maybe be in a coma, or something where you're not able to actually make a decision for yourself because of the state of your health. So then you appoint
And the state of your mind.
And the state of your mind. So
Yes.
it could be dementia. It could be just anything that will cause you could be in a vegetative state. I mean, we don't like to talk about those things, but things happen. You could get in an accident, and and the doctors may say, or maybe we need to do something now. Well, if you can't talk, if you or maybe you're under the influence, they got you on so many pain meds, you can't. You know what I mean? You feel like you don't know if you're coming. You don't even know you're in the hospital, right? So whoever you appoint, your healthcare agents, and I always recommend two, like one and then a backup, just in case that person can't get to you. That person should know your heart, should know what you would want to happen, right? And you can't think of every circumstance, but you should appoint someone that knows your heart and that's going to do what you would do if you could speak for yourself.
I have a friend that does that. She says she doesn't understand why everybody wants to hold on and be on tubes and ventilators all of their life. She said, when I go, I want to be gone. I don't want to have prolonged life procedures. And I was telling her I'd be on one for 10 years. I just, but everybody does. But if you don't have that person that has your heart, and they don't believe as you do, you can still tell them when they're going to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that person understands your heart and we'll do what you said.
And if it's written down, right, and you say, I want to stay on life support. Just come in and I keep talking about my mom, but that's my best friend, and she passed away.
Yeah.
But so I was her power of attorney, right? I'm the baby, but I went to law school, so it just makes sense, right?
Right.
So put Krystal in charge of everything, right? And for her healthcare agent, I think she changed that because she was like, I want the Lord. I want to go and be with the Lord. I want to go working. I want to go serving the people. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to, And she pretty much did. But I told her, I said, that's okay, because if you get sick, I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. I'll bathe you, take you to the bathroom or whatever. And she was like, no, I don't want to be, don't leave me on life support for years and years. Give me a chance.
Right.
Yeah, give me a chance.
That's
Pray,
what I
see
said.
what God said.
Don't do it the next day.
Right.
Give God a
Right,
chance.
give
That's
a
what I
chance.
told my girlfriend.
Right.
Give God a
Don't
chance.
leave me. I don't want to be a vegetable.
Right,
Don't do that to me. Like she
Right.
literally. And I said, well, I hear what you're saying, Mom, but I have to be honest. I'm just gonna have to come and blow the dust off your bones. I'll come. You could be a skeleton. I'll be like, hey, Mom, and I'll bring a brush and dust your bones off. I'm not gonna unplug you. And so, it was a joke, but I was totally serious. And she, because I knew it would be difficult for me personally to make a decision.
That's the hardest thing.
For me personally. That's what I said then, but looking back now, when my mom passed away, and they were trying to revive her, and they were trying to revive her for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever seen someone when they're really working to get someone,
Right.
back.
Right.
I was the only one that said, stop it.
Wow.
Just stop.
Right.
Because I knew, my mom would have been very upset
Yes.
if she came back with broken ribs. You've been out for 45 minutes, so your brain can't go.
Right.
If you're dead for 45 minutes, I mean,
Right.
I would have had to answer for that.
Right.
So even though I'm the one that says I could never pull the plug,
Right.
I was the only one in the room that told everybody, stop this foolishness right now. Okay?
Right.
So, yes.
Several years ago, my younger brother ended up in the hospital because, he'd had massive serious strokes, and then they released him into a nursing home. And he got really, the philosophy bag that he had, when we went in there on a Saturday, there was blood in it. And so we asked the nurses if they had noticed it. And basically they're saying, we didn't know anything about that.
They hadn't checked.
So we called his doctor, and his doctor says, well, can you get him up to Research Hospital? And we said, we don't think he'd even make it up there. So they put him in an ambulance to the local hospital. And because he couldn't speak for himself, or he couldn't speak, he was almost completely paralyzed. My youngest brother and I had already discussed that we were going to talk to a lawyer to have power of attorney over everything, especially if his health. And so before we left, we finally got to see his doctor one time before we left. We've been trying to see him forever and a day. And we told the doctor, if he's passing away, not to do any extra things to keep him alive. And the following week, and this was just before Christmas, I get a call from my youngest brother, and he's telling me that our brother's heart rate had gone up to 900 beats a minute. They do something to try and get that down, and then they do something else. They just couldn't get his body stabilized. But we told them if he has a heart attack or if if he passes away, do not resuscitate him. You can try the, the electric paddles, but it says we do not want him left in this kind of a
Yeah.
state.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. They did not try and resuscitate him. If we had not have had that in there and told the doctor that,
Yeah. They would have.
they would have continued
Continued.
trying to keep him alive.
Yeah. And that's the beauty. Thank you for sharing it. I'm sorry to hear that about your
Yeah.
brother. The
Amen.
beauty of a healthcare power of attorney. So again, two of them. One is for finances and property, so people can pay your bills, right? They can pay your bills. If you're going to, let's say, go living assisted living or something like that, this is why you're alive. I mean, in Wisconsin, the healthcare power of attorney, the power of attorney for finances becomes active immediately on the day that you sign it. Now, the person doesn't have to take care of your stuff now, but just know whoever you appoint, they have a right to like go to your bank and pull money out. So sometimes with the power of attorney for finances, it will cover you, right? If you become ill or something like that, that person can still take care of your finances and your property. But a lot of times it's just a matter of, I'm tired of paying my bills. I'm tired of having to worry about all this financial stuff. I want you to just handle that for me. So that's the beauty of a power of attorney, right? For finances and property. If you're traveling abroad, maybe you left the country, but you still need like your bills to be taken care of, that person can go to the bank and sign in their own name as the power of attorney. They can take money out the bank, put money in the bank, they can buy and sell things, they can sell your house, they can buy another house in your name. What a power of attorney for finances doesn't do, that person that you appoint, they handle your money and property for you. That money is not for them. They cannot use it for themselves by law, unless you put in your financial power of attorney that they can get a fee for doing it. So just so you know, this is not the person that you appoint as your financial power of attorney. Their job is to handle your money and property when you tell them to, and only when you tell them to.
Attorney Krystal,
Yes.
well, our time is up, but we need to be able to, I have one quick question.
ma'am.
The power, not power of attorney, but the executor of the will, is there a portion in there where they get paid for their services?
So most states do have a provision where the personal representative can get up to a certain amount for their services. It is a lot of work, but you don't have to pay them. But most states have a provision that allows them, if there's money in the estate, to take a certain percentage for their work, because they literally are the ones that will work with the family, or they may be the person that has to go through all the mail, figure out, what creditors, what credit cards, what bills, go through the hospital bills, call the hospital. They have to go through your stuff and figure out, what you have, what you don't have. I do recommend, since we're ending, to your point about your brother, the healthcare power of attorney, you actually can write in there under what circumstances do you think you would want. You can say, do not resuscitate me, or you can say, resuscitate me over and over. You can say, if I'm in a persistent vegetative state, right? Meaning like you're in a coma, you can't. You can say, withhold food and hydration if it looks like I'm on my way to glory anyway. Or you can say, don't withhold food and hydration, right? So so it asks you specific questions, so you don't have to think about what am I missing. It'll ask, and then it'll ask, do you want to become a donor, organ donor? You check yes or no. All this is in writing, but you still appoint someone and you say, this is my agent to make those decisions. It helps the family, because if the agent has to make a decision that's difficult, that person doesn't have to feel guilty about that decision, whatever it is, whether if it's to keep you or to let you go, because you told them what to do. And they can say, I'm doing this because auntie told me to do this. I'm doing this because uncle told me to do this. I'm doing this because this is what dad wanted, right? But again, you want to pick some people that have your heart, because you may say that's what you want, but you want someone that knows your heart well enough to know, yeah, not yet, or do not resuscitate is on there, whether or not you want to be resuscitated, whether or not you want food and water, and whether or not you want to be an organ donor. All that can be in the healthcare power of attorney.
When does a healthcare power of attorney kick in?
Immediately, yes. So the healthcare power of attorney, as soon as you sign it, they become your healthcare agent, but they only make decisions when you can. They can't just come in and you say, yeah, I'll have that surgery. They can't come in and say, I'm the healthcare power of attorney. No, you can't have surgery. They can't do that. They can only do that if you are unable to speak for yourself. Yes.
Quick question, does, I guess this would only be for financial, does beneficiaries, assigning beneficiaries override a will?
Yes, that's a great question. I'm so glad you brought that up. That's so important. You notice I didn't say retirement or life insurance. That is a part of your estate, but a will can't touch it.
Right.
Anything that where you have to put a beneficiary, or any like joint bank accounts. If you have a bank account and it's with you and someone else, even if your will says, leave everything in state bank that I have in state bank savings, give that to my granddaughter.
No.
Well, if somebody else's name is on the account with you, or if you have a paid on death, too bad, you put in your will, but the owner of that account is the other person. It's the beneficiary of that account. If you put, because you can do a paid on death, you can tell your banker, make this a paid on death account, and on my death, this person gets it. Or you can do a joint account. You can say it's my account, but I'm going to put my son's name, or I'm going to put my niece or nephew's name on it with me, so that when I go, I'm going to give him whatever's in there. He can just have it anyway.
But then they can go into your account too. I mean, while you're alive.
Yeah. So this is
Or
why
you can
we're
have
alive.
or you can have two signatures while you're alive. You have to have two signatures, so they can't go into your account to
Right.
take it out.
You can do that, because like I said, whoever you appoint as your financial power of attorney in Wisconsin, when you sign it, it becomes active immediately. So that's why you want to make sure you trust the person, or just say,
It has to be two signatures.
The thing is, the whole purpose of the power of attorney for finances is for that person to be able to handle your business when you can't.
Right.
So if you set it up where your signature has to be on it, it may defeat the purpose later on. It works now, but later on. But you asked about life insurance. So life insurance, retirement accounts, whoever the beneficiary is, it's all theirs. The will, it supersedes anything that's in the will. So when I draft wills, I don't talk about insurance unless your life insurance policy, unless one of the beneficiaries is your estate. The estate of, right? So that's a whole different story, but that's how I help families build wealth and trust funds. Because for most of us in America, Black, white, Asian, doesn't matter, in America, most people are not wealthy. They're not rich, right? So for your average American, if you plan properly through your life insurance or your retirement, you literally can leave a legacy in the form of a trust fund for your loved ones.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
Literally, you can say, I'm going to give $500,000 and pay for my granddaughter to go to college. She can't have that money outright. I'm going to leave it to a trustee. But you create wealth through your life insurance and through your retirement. You can. Or you just give it to one person and create wealth in their life. Either way, that's a different conversation. But yes, so your life insurance, retirement, anything that has a beneficiary attached, it's a part of your estate, sort of, but it's not a part of the probate estate. Like, the court can't touch it, the probate court, matter of fact, they don't even know anything about it, and they don't want to know about it, because it's a contract between you and whoever that and the company and that beneficiary. Retirement, organizations, government, their insurance companies, they won't even talk to. So if someone calls and says, I think my sister had a life insurance policy, how much did she leave to Pookie? They're not gonna send us some proof that you're Pookie, and we not only will we tell you what it is, but we're gonna cut a check for you. So yeah. Thank you
Well,
for the
thank you
opportunity.
so much. Amen. Amen. Hello, hello, hello. It's your girl, Pastor Kathy Jones. Some time ago, I started broadcasting on this station. Over the past few months, our show has had phenomenal growth. We have had the opportunity to impact audiences all around the world. We have explored everything from depression to expressions of love, hate, fear, death, dying, and even how to save a child's life. We've also talked about sexual intimacy, and we've talked about all of these subjects from what I believe is a biblical point of view. I am convinced more than ever before that people are searching to have godly answers to the pressing issues of our day. And that's why I'm here. And you know that you need this programming to stay on the air. I want to continue to provide exceptional programming and motivate and encourage people across all cultures and the 27 time zones which we presently reach. I'm more than just a talk show host, and our program meets the needs of so many people, and we have thousands that are asking for more. To say thank you for your faithful financial support, I want to give you a special offer. For those of you who give $10 a month for the next 12 months or a $100 gift, one-time gift, I am going to send you some of the most requested items from our KDJ Publishing resources. You're going to receive our most popular music, Warfare Tears. You'll also receive the book, Whose Man Is This? And you'll receive the DVD copy of Whose Child Is This? And Bishop Spencer Jones's digital copy of his book, The Soul Winner's Manual. Listen, people are wanting to hear more, and I'm wanting to hear from you. You can send your donation, send your gift. The information is at the bottom of the screen. Don't be like those who say, I should have, could have, wish I did, but do it today. I'm waiting to hear from you. God bless.